This is John Burke. I'm a visiting lecturer at RISEBA University, and I'm giving a course on arbitration. So today, I want to go over some of the basic concepts that I already covered in the first lecture when I was in Riga. So I entitled this short presentation, Arbitration, Basic Concept. So the main idea, what is arbitration? Well, it's a way to resolve disputes, that's clear. And it's a way to resolve disputes outside a court system, and actually it excludes all other options if we just agree to arbitrate. So what is the key factor, you could say the foundation stone of arbitration? It's a contractual obligation. Now, what is a contract? Well, to keep it really simple, because different legal regimes have different concepts of contract, but we can simply say it's an exchange of promises. So when I speak about an arbitration agreement or an arbitration contract, I'm talking about situations where parties exchange a promise that they are going to resolve their disputes by mediation. And this will actually be contained in contract language, in a contract clause. And what I'm doing, what parties are doing when they agree to arbitrate their disputes, they are agreeing to exclude other options of resolving the dispute that is available to them. In other words, they're committing themselves to resolving their conflicts by one particular means of dispute resolution, and in this case that I'm talking about, it is arbitration. The main consequence of entering into an arbitration agreement or this arbitration contract is you're giving up a right to go to court. So wherever we live, we're living inside a particular legal regime. And in this legal regime, the government provides services to us to settle our disputes, and generally these services are in the form of a court system. So when I enter into a arbitration contract or an arbitration agreement, I am giving up this right, legal right, to go to court against you or against the opposing party to resolve my dispute. So this is kind of a big deal. You're giving up a major legal right that you have. But we have to understand why you might do something like this. And in this course, I'm talking mainly about international transactions, international commercial transactions to be specific, rather than domestic transactions. So we have to realize we're dealing with parties that are resident in different nation states, and these different nation states have their own legal systems or legal regimes, their own rules, language, procedures, rights to appeal, ways judgments are enforced, a myriad of different issues. And one key point when we think of international commercial transactions, and then those transactions that may end up in a dispute, is that a judgment of one court is not necessarily enforceable in another legal regime. So let's take a simple case. I'm in Iraq right now. So I am an Iraqi merchant. I am an importer of, let's say, French cheese. So the seller will be located in France. There's a dispute. I go to an Iraqi court where it is going to be in the Arabic language. They will have their own special procedural rules. If you want to try to contest this, you're going to have to hire local counsel, so on and so forth. But in the end, let's assume I win. I will have a judgment from an Iraqi court, and I want to enforce that in France. Why? Because that's where the seller will have money. Well, it's not necessary. It doesn't necessarily follow that a French court will enforce the judgment of an Iraqi court. There's two different legal systems. So in the absence of some treaty or some other form of agreement, that legal judgment that I have that may entitle me to compensation of some sort is unenforceable. Unless, of course, the French merchant, the French seller, has assets in Iraq, which I could attach by going to a court here. So this is a big deal in arbitration. So in arbitration, one of the benefits, and there are others that I will talk about, is this idea of a final award. So speaking generally, and we're going to exclude all exceptions, an award that results from this arbitration procedure, and I'm saying arbitration procedure, a single procedure. Now, it may have different phases, different hearings, but it'll be a single procedure. It's generally not subject to appeal. In other words, when the arbitrators enter that award, I'm fairly certain that it's the final award. That is, it is not going to be reversed or set aside by some court. There are limited grounds to set aside these awards, but I'm not going to get into that option now, or that exception at this point. The other thing about an arbitration award is that wherever the arbitration award is entered, and I have to get into that in another presentation, that award is enforceable in numerous jurisdictions, more than 150. Now, why is this so? Because there is a treaty called the New York Convention on the Recognition and Enforcement of Arbitral Awards from 1958, and it's been widely adopted throughout the world. So let's go back to our example of the Iraqi French merchant. Well, Iraq is a signatory to the New York Convention. So if the place of the award is Iraq, that's great. And I want to enforce it in France, again, another signatory state to the New York Convention 1958. I could go to the appropriate court in France. I would follow certain formalities. I have to show that the award is valid, and so on and so forth. But once I sort of pass these formalities, the French court is going to enforce that award. It's not going to start to review it on the merits. So let's say my hypothetical. Let's say that I'm entitled to 500 million in euro in damages, and the assets are located in France. I can go to a court in France and have that award, the arbitration award that was entered in Iraq, enforced in France. So this is one of the main benefits of arbitration is finality of award. Another main benefit is the confidentiality of the process, but I'm going to go into that in another video, and I'm trying to keep these videos short so that they aren't terribly boring. So on that note, I will end this presentation. You have my email. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, and I look forward to making another video for you shortly. Goodbye.